Never voting better than those bastards. Very angry right now, in case you can't tell.
Anyway, back to our subject of why Gen 5 isn't Pokemon, or Gen 1, a critique of creatures introduced in the 5th generation Pokemon games. Now, before we get too into the weeds here, we're going to go ahead and start off with a brief quiz, to see what your level of background information is about, the Pokemon series. This is going to be very simple. Raise your hand if you think that the image we show you is of a Pokemon, and keep it down if you don't. Pretty straightforward.
Are you asking a question, or are you preemptively raising your hand?
I see.
Yeah. So, are you just going to name something?
I like where your head's at. Stay tuned.
Okay.
First up, is this a Pokemon?
Yes.
There are a few people whose hands are a little too tilted. Please, straight in the air.
Also,
this is not a CPAC meeting, okay?
Oh.
Good job, all of you, except for the folks who didn't have their hands up, because this is, of course, the champ, the OG Gen 1 fighting type. Stage 3 evolves via training. Good gig it's got going. Next up, is this a Pokemon?
Yes. Unfortunately.
Yes, Max. We might. Not quite as many people have their hands up, but unfortunately, those of you who do are incorrect. This was introduced in Generation 5, which means it is, of course, not a Pokemon. We actually can't speak this creature's name, because as a 16-up panel, we can't curse too much.
Don't watch your fucking language.
Yeah, no fucking profanity allowed in this room. We're gonna call this girder thing.
I think we just dropped enough F-bombs to hits. Let's be careful. Let's be fucking careful. Yeah, is 8 o'clock when children go to bed? Is that how it works?
Next up, is this a Pokemon? I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you.
Thank you, Clayton.
What? Because of course this is a Pokemon.
Clayton, look, the amount of computers I've had to purchase because you keep putting that in the panel.
Look, they said they would give me 128 copies of the 6th file on my hard drive.
What is the 6th file on your hard drive?
No comment.
Well, I guess while we wait for my computer to restart, is this a Pokemon?
Not a lot of hands, but I do see some, which is good, because those of you who do are correct. This is, of course, Shrimp Stompura, a leaked Generation 10 Pokemon. We definitely haven't been saying that for the past 10-ish years.
9 years. 9 years.
9 years and moving the goalpost every time it doesn't happen.
Last time I did this, someone went, "Oh, a fighting food on." I was like, "Why do you know what those are?"
And lastly, is this a Pokemon?
You look so happy about this.
His happiness is warranted.
Hand needs to go up more, man.
Unfortunately, his hand is not, because this is, of course, Embor, the sumo wrestler starter from Generation 5, which means it is not a Pokemon, sadly.
Yeah, well, of Toru from Jackie Chan Adventures.
Okay, that's fine, as long as it's not Embor.
So, if you're like that person, well, who did well all the time? Who got them all right? Cool, that's you if you got them all right. That guy, though, this is you. And I mean, if you feel like you deserve to be the Keanu Reeves in this situation, you don't.
Now, briefly, we're going to have a disclaimer describing how we did our research for this panel, because actually OSHA, or at least what's left of OSHA, has reclassified Gen 5 as a workplace safety hazard, which means we're legally required to give this this safety introduction.
And since there's no OSHA, no one has to wear hard hats anymore.
But we still have to talk about Generation 5 on the Fire Diamond, which just just to go through it really briefly, the red square there details how flammable this dangerous material is, which, of course, Generation 5 is a 5 out of 4 due to its tendency to start with flammable. In terms of how toxic Gen 5 is, that's, of course, a 5 out of 4. In terms of how explosive Generation 5 is, we interpreted that to mean how many new variations of the attack explosion were introduced. This number should ideally be as high as possible, which is why I'm crushed to inform you that it's a 0. And the last square is, of course, for any special properties the material may have. Is it a strong oxidizer? Does it do any dangerous chemical reactions with water? Is it likely to start the next crusade for Constantinople? You can't be too careful with this stuff. It's always important to read the material safety data sheet.
Now, given how dangerous this is, you think we should just, not look into it, avoid it. But here's the thing: we have beef. So there are a couple things you could do to safely research Gen 5 besides, I guess, the hard hat. Number one, you could just eat paste. It'll kill enough brain cells that everything will work out. The problem is I'm Team Valor, so I'm never doing that. Step two, you can remove your nostalgia goggles and approach it like, it's a new fun thing, but I like my rose-tinted glasses personally.
I actually had mine surgically implanted this morning. I see the entire world as nothing but 64-bit polygons, and it's...
What I love is these are broken. Like, I had to tape them together. They're Stadia glasses. Of course they're broken.
It might be why I lost the Super Smash Bros. Tournament earlier.
So, the follow-up, of course, is if we use a word replacer, suddenly if something said it was a Pokemon, it could say it's something else, and we could safely research it, like this.
Oh.
This is, of course, Trubbish, the Abomination.
And then there's Kling Kling, the Dumpster Fire, from Bulbapedia, the community-driven dumpster fire encyclopedia. Suddenly I can research it. This next one is rough, though. So I know we said the 16-up panel. This is the part where we're really pushing that. So if you're weak of constitution, avert your eyes. Hand check.
Let's go, hand check.
A lot of people fail in that hand check. That's upsetting. So if you did fail that hand check, we've got some nice people outside in suits. They would love to meet you, get your name, your internet browsing history, and they're going to send you straight to El Salvador.
Oh my god.
Sad. Anyway, we're going to talk about combat. So Pokemon is at its core, it's a JRPG, it's an action game, it's a combat game. So Gen 1, of course, knocked it out of the park. Before Pokemon came out, people didn't even argue about things. They just agreed. Clayton would be like, hey, Max, want to go get hot dogs? And I'd be like, yeah, sounds great. I don't eat pork or beef, but I'm down because I don't want to disagree with you. Suddenly, Gen 1 comes out and we're invading a rock for oil. That fast. Red and blue became so synonymous with combat, it even bled into the WWE. And you would think Game Freak would rest on their laurels and declare a mission accomplished and be like, yeah, we perfected it. But they knew they could do even better than perfection.
And I, for one, am glad they continued, because Generation 2 is the brood war to Gen 1 StarCraft 1 vanilla, in that it took something that was already excellent, and through the iterative addition of new mechanics, units, and environments, made something that was truly perfect. Generation 2 introduced such mechanics as weather, entry hazards, leftovers. I mean,
You're all laughing like it's not normal to put spaghetti in a bag. Like,
we've all done it, don't lie. And,
well, it's leftovers. It's never going to last forever. That's not the point.
and they also split the special stat into a special attack and a special defense stat, which worked out pretty well for some Pokemon, but unfortunately didn't work out as well for others. My boy Gyarados had to wait 2 whole generations to be able to use water-type attacks again. It was really sad. Generation 2 also helped nerf the dreadfully overpowered Gen 1 Psychic type through the addition.
Perfectly balanced, because Gen 1 was perfect.
Right, of course. But it did add the Dark and Steel type Pokemon to the game, which is still a good addition.
Gen 3 approached a lot of criticisms of Pokemon games. Yeah, okay, some Poland fans, good for you. We approached some criticism Pokemon received, primarily that it's a game for children, by deciding to make it a game for people with obsessive-compulsive disorder. Suddenly we got natures, abilities, IVs, and EVs. It wasn't enough to have a sick-ass Rattata. You had to breed the sick-ass Rattata with 8 other sick-ass Rattatas to get the perfect moveset, and then have it grind against a million other sick-ass Rattatas to get the EVs, and it's just a nightmare. I have so many spreadsheets. So many spreadsheets.
I have so many empty PC boxes full of my reject.
You could use those to solve the national egg shortage. And you don't.
Well, what I actually did was use them in Generation 4 when they changed the special stat again. So my modest Sceptile with Leaf Blade was suddenly worthless. But my Gyarados that, had min-max attack stats could use Waterfall again, which was fantastic. They also added in Generation 4 the infamous Stealth Rock. An entry hazard that has so overwhelmingly centralized the metagame that it single-handedly dictates what types are even usable in the game, to the point where they actually had to introduce an entire item later on specifically to nullify Stealth Rock. Heavy boots, man.
Next we have everything Gen 5 brought us to the combat mechanics. Wait, I don't get anything?
Well, there was...
But, okay, notice I didn't mention double battles. Which, of the battle types, are the only ones that exist. Who does triple battles? Who does rotation battles? Double is the only format that exists outside of singles.
Also,
and we didn't mention them, just so you couldn't sit there and say triple battles.
Also, who cares? Who cares about that anyway? Because Generation 6 came along and let you warp Digivolve to your Mega Form.
I like that corner. You guys are cool.
Which was based. And also, they gave us an excuse to use the Gen 1 starters again, which, honestly, perfect game. Perfectly acceptable Pokemon.
In Gen 7, we saw Pikachu and Jigglypuff import something from Smash Brothers, specifically Z moves. Suddenly your Pokemon, you could do an interpretive dance and Splash would be useful for once.
Generation 8 added Big as a mechanic. They were too lazy to code new Mega Evolutions, so they just made everything get big.
And Gen 9 gave us hats. I'm curious what type of trilby would make you. I'm assuming poison. But of the mechanics, I think hats are my favorite gimmick because, suddenly I can have an ice type like Furret, and that's kind of cool. It's not good, but it's kind of cool. It does provide a lot of gameplay opportunities that simply get... Yeah. Unlike Big, which just gives you cool Vuvuzela music, right?
Next up, we're going to talk about power creep a little bit. For those of you who play collectible card games, power creep is a phenomenon where every time there's an update to a game system, the new content introduced is usually just a little bit better than the old stuff, just so you have an incentive to continue investing in staying competitive.
I like the guy nodding like, yeah, power creep. In the blue jacket, I saw you.
And Generation 5 has some really bad examples of power creep, especially exemplified by, I'll just pick an example from our quiz earlier. Because this is an example of how Generation 5 creatures often tend to be min-maxed reskins of existing Pokemon. Here we have Machamp and Girderthing. They both have very similar stat spreads. They're slow, bulky, physical attackers. The only difference is Girderthing's stats are strictly better where it matters and strictly worse where it doesn't. Machamp is faster, but he's about as fast as a golf cart with 3 flat tires or 4 flat tires. Either way, you're not winning any races unless you got Trick Room on your team, right? The special attack is a little bit higher, which, unless you're running a Fire Blast Choice Specs build, first of all, we should hang out because you're a cool person. But you're probably not going to win too many tournaments that way. We also have just some other examples, like the goddamn Moth. People like him, but let's be real. This thing has legendary bird tier special attack. It is commonly cited as a justification for the existence of stealth rock retroactively, which is annoying. And it has a unique attack that is a strictly better version of power-up punch, which is a dynamic that has never been repeated at any point in the series.
No, it doesn't make it cooler. Next, we have what I can only assume is Sandslash's edgy persona, which is weird because Sandslash is every 8-year-old's edgy persona. It has 135 attack, which, that's Dragonite levels, which is weird from something that I'm pretty sure I could run over with my car and just get some severe tire damage. Also, its speed stat is 88, which is the Nazi number, so maybe we should just cancel this thing.
Oh my god.
Next up, we've got, I don't even know what this thing's name is, Darmana Tana Bobana or something like that. I don't even know. The point is, this creature's base stat total is around the ballpark of Nidoking's, which, not terrible, but honestly not great. Not as high as the starter Pokemon. But it has probably the biggest gulf between its most used and unused stats of almost anything I've seen, except maybe Mega Beedrill, which was an explicit attempt to make something that was terrible vaguely usable. And meanwhile, this thing is a higher attack stat than Dragonite, which, I mean, the Primus strategy guide for Generation 1 told me as a child that Dragonite has the highest attack stat of any Pokemon, and therefore it is still true to this day. There's also the matter of the Dragon type, which started out, basically we have a graph here, graphing the percentage of the Smogon OU tier by generation that was of the Dragon type. We see that it starts out fairly low, but as the generations progress, it escalates, spiking to the largest extent in Generation 5, getting to the point where 1 in 6 Pokemon in OU were Dragon type, which there's more than 6 Pokemon types, people. And this likely led directly to the introduction of Mike Pence's least favorite Pokemon type, the Fairy type, which of course was built to hard counter dragons. And as you can see for the graph for subsequent generations, the Dragon type share of the OU tier gradually declined, never again reached Generation 5's peak, and it fixed the problem forever.
No, it didn't.
What are you talking about?
That's not, it got higher again.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong graph. See, okay. That was the original version before I found out that a lot of the creatures in OU that are Dragon type are Paradox Pokemon. So literally just things like Generation 2, like Giraffariku, Triceratops Entei, and Suicune on acid. So if you remove those from the list and fix the data, it completely supports my hypothesis.
Not yet. Okay, next is aesthetic. I'm going to use this later, I just need to remind myself I have it. So not only are Gen 5 monstrosities just, poorly designed mechanically, they're poorly designed aesthetically too. I mean, look at this. What do we have? We have Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and the Rock'em Sock'em robots. It's not right.
Yeah, these of course are 2 paired fighting types from Generation 1 and Generation 5, of course. And you'll notice that the Generation 1 Pokemon had excellent inspirations, like famous Japanese martial artist Jackie Chan, shown here going around the world, chasing down the ancient talismans, thwarting the forces of darkness, while still saving time for good moral lessons for the children. As well as Hitmonlee, named for Bruce Lee, shown here kicking the shit out of the 2006 era internet.
I mean, I miss a lot of old internet. I do not miss that old internet.
Yeah. I like my headcanon that actually a Falcon Punch was more devastating than a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick. It holds up better. This is, of course, in contrast to the Generation 5 abominations, named after that thing you peel off your foot after you're done at the gym, or, throwing stuff on the ground because you're a emotionally stunted child.
Just want to walk around. Okay, so there's a problem though. The aesthetics get worse than that, because not only have they, ruined our good fighting types, they've decided to just rip off of existing starters. Let me bring to you Clayton,
Yes, Max.
you're supposed to put Embor in this slide.
Yeah, Embor is the sumo wrestler Pokemon, right?
You're right, I'm so sorry. Apologies. I wanted the firefighting starter, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the firefighting starter should be in there.
The firefighting starter, Clayton.
Sorry, I remember you meant the one that was a mammal.
The firefighting starter, Clayton.
There's more than one firefighting
Yes.
starter that is specifically a mammal.
I swear to God, if the next slide is wrong, I'm firing you. Was this the 6th file on your hard drive?
This is why I didn't want to talk about it.
Okay. I cannot stand in front of that, but I want to. Why are we just doing Hariyama OC Do Not Steal? Doing the 3rd time in a row. What's the point of having a fire starter? It's fighting at this point. Like, it's pointless. And then, yeah, it's based off my boy Toru, and why would you do this to him? So anyway, let's also take some pot shots at some other things. Here we have Tentacruel, and then we have Tentacruel with an inflation kink. We have Golbat, and we have Golbat after someone told him he was a good boy, but you didn't have the national dex, so you couldn't get a good version. And we have... Chris, which one of those is Clefable? The Clefable doesn't bottom? What the fuck? And then, of course, the low-hanging fruit. Now, a lot of people like the garbage bag, and you're wrong. First of all, why are you giving a garbage bag pigtails? That's kind of... No, you do not want to fuck the garbage bag. It's ripped, you'll get it pregnant. Next up, it looks like its fingers are cigarette butts, which makes sense because every time I see this, I want to take up smoking to put a cigarette out on it. But I know that all that is going to do is make it stronger. Their arm is clearly a gas nozzle, so it is a Republican. Next up, we have a series of gears that doesn't work. We have injured gear, spins teal gear, spins big gear, spins peach gear, but how is this rotating? I don't know. But what do they learn in Japan in science class? Next up, we have the ice cream cone. So, I don't know about you, but when I'm scooping 2 ice creams, I do not go 1, hold it sideways, hope physics stops, because that's what I think gears work like, and put the other one on. Like, that's not how you do ice cream, that's how you feed ants. And I know I'm wearing rose-tinted glasses right now, but we can all agree, the N64 controller design was shit. Why are you modeling something after it? Worst of all, it vapes. And then we have this thing, which is only legally a Pokemon in, like, North Dakota.
Oh my god.
Jeez. Speaking of which, I just got word from my uncle who works at Nintendo that in the upcoming Switch 2 re-release of Pokemon Stadium 2, the Department of Health and Human Services is going to require that the egg emergency minigame is going to be changed to be this.
Catch the coat hanger, it's the Texas special. Don't boo that, that's sad.
Now, these are all unfortunate examples of poor aesthetic design from Generation 5, which stand in stark contrast to the excellent, original, and creative designs of Generation 1. Now, I know what you all might be thinking, and you shielded your gaze. Several people were cheering for you, so hell yeah. You may be asking, Clayton, those are literally the worst possible examples of Generation 1 Pokemon you could have defended. To which I have to say, A, you have bad taste. What the heck's wrong with you? But B, if I can defend these, I can defend Charizard. So buckle up. Starting with Electrode, which some people say is a lazy cop-out because it's just a Pokeball. What's original about that? But what do the items you find through your adventure look like on the ground? Pokeballs.
Treasure chests.
Well, yes. But you're getting at my next point, which is that Electrode and Voltorb are supposed to pay homage to the Mimic from various fantasy settings, ranging from Dungeons & Dragons, Dark Souls, etc., where that new TM that you were ogling just now might just turn out to be an explosive surprise that makes you lose your Blastoise in your Nuzlocke run. Sucks to be you. Next up, we've got...
Soon.
Next up, we've got the bad touch Pokemon.
Those allegations, they're not proven yet. The investigation's still ongoing. We cannot make comments.
Okay, I guess I'll have to just move on to Muck, who people like to say is lazy because it's just a blob. What's so creative about that? Well, I don't know if you've seen a movie in your life, but sludge monsters are a pretty common archetype throughout different sources of fiction. You've got the Blob, Hedorah from the Godzilla franchise, the creature from the Black Lagoon, oozes from World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons, and any other number of fantasy settings. Muck is A, paying homage to that classic horror movie monster, and B, I don't know about you, but a pile of sludge sounds like a good representation of pure poison to me, or at least one representation. And being that Generation 1 was trying to set the examples for what the types would represent going forward, Muck being a poison type is a great design. I love my boy Muck.
He's cool. Anyway, let's talk about villains. So, Team Rocket, not that, I'm biased or anything, but I think they're pretty cool. Their whole thing is like, hey, let's just do evil and use Pokemon to do it. Let's run a casino. Let's not bankrupt it. Maybe let's take over Silph Coast, steal some
Like, we'll
basketball.
skim 20% off the top, but not enough to kill the business.
No. Giovanni's a successful businessman, unlike certain people we all know. Team Rocket's pretty cool. It's so cool they came back again for Gen 2. Gen 3, though, gave us Team Magma and Aqua, which I'm pretty sure was just Game Freak, subtweeting the environmentalist movement, which... little yikes. Now, as we all know, Team Aqua thinks there should be more water. Team Magma thinks there should be more land. There's an obvious answer to that, because this is what Hoenn looks like. I'm just saying, Team Magma was right. But, eco-terrorism's one thing. You can still, play with that, and it's realistic. And then you get to Gen 4, and suddenly they're like, what if we made Omsh and Rikyo the bad guys? And what if they just... Yeah, why are we doing Doomsday Cults? We're a 10-year-old. And then Gen 5 gives us fucking the Dark Hand. Now to collect the gym badges. Wait a minute. Clayton?
Yes, Matt.
That's Valmont. Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh, you're right.
You're right.
For a second, I thought...
Why do you keep fucking up the slides?
Look, it's because the actual material is too depressing, so I reach for happy things like...
The worst part is I made these slides and he still messed them up. This one, I don't know. I don't even remember who made the Jinx one anymore. That's been around forever. No, we've got Team Plasma. These fucking Knights Templar cosplayers. The Crusade guys. And I get it. I'm on a holy crusade of sorts too. But instead of a mission to sack Constantinople or get $5,000 to pay the local tax assessor to save an orphanage, I want to just simply bully Gen 5 enjoyers. And honestly, that shouldn't be a crime. And their whole thing is that they just think Pokemon shouldn't be used as tools of war. So what do? They use Pokemon as tools of war? Yeah, this is bad, let's do it. How are you a more hypocritical version of PETA? That is hard to pull off. And then you've got their leader, Ed.
Oh.
And his thing is he wants to capture a legendary Pokemon because he thinks it'll give him a personality cult and it'll let him be like, hey, everybody, let's just be chill. And everyone will be like, yeah, he seems pretty cool, right? And it's dumb. And you show up, you beat his ass to the floor, and it turns out his plan wasn't liberation, it was fucking capitalism. Because while this is happening, Gestus is like, oh yeah, well I got all my little Team Plasma guys plugged into the PC system. We're going to release everyone's Pokemon, so no one else can have Pokemon, but I can. And that sounds like something we're going through right now.
Oh, wow.
Wait, Clayton, I think you have a phone call. Yeah, you want to go take that real quick? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Don't let him hear this, but I think in Black White 2, the plan with Kiram is legit. Hear me out. The whole thing is we're going to take Kiram, and we're going to use him to freeze the Earth. And have you seen global temperatures lately? This is the solution we need. Also, I love the cold. Yeah. And that's why it's just Gen 3 all over again, right, Clayton?
That's right. And
Yeah.
Gen 3 was good. Why remake
Yeah,
something?
Black White 2 is the worst game. I hate it.
Why would they remake something good badly?
It's terrible. Anyway, then there's Team Skull, and they're pretty cool. I've got some complaints, like they like Faygo, and have you had Faygo? It's disgusting. They use aspartame and sugar. What are you doing? Pick a lane. And their taste in music is bad. But at least their politics are somehow fine. How do we lose with endorsements like that? And Gen 8's like, yeah, people like Team Skull. Let's do a worse version of that. What if instead of Team Skull just being cool, they were just gooning for some gym leader?
Wow.
Like, I don't know. That's sad. It's boring. I don't like it. Actually, wait, real quick. I know we're in Gen 5 Isn't Pokémon, but I want to go somewhere else real quick. Why Gen 8 isn't Pokemon, or let's give a popular opinion for once in our goddamn lives. First off, the wild area sucks. You can explore the whole thing in 15 minutes, and its design feels like some kids playing with Duplo blocks. No coherency. Like, come on, Nintendo, what are you doing? A year before this, you released Breath of the Wild, and a year after, you released Arceus. And in the middle, you couldn't figure this shit out. And then the world map itself is pretty boring. It's just a bunch of loops. It looks like a subdivision in Las Vegas. Like, I thought Gen 5's map was bad, but somehow this looks like peak design in comparison. And next, have you seen the starter? Fire, fighting. Don't believe me? He has feet. What do you use feet for? Kicking. Like mega kick, fighting move. Don't believe me? Use it on a ghost type. It won't deal any damage because it's fighting. Sure, we got Yamper, one of the cutest goddamn things to ever grace this fine earth. But it doesn't really matter because Gen 8 still sucks. Badges. So this is Gary showing off a set of badges I sold him on Etsy because he's a fucking mark. He's got his weighted companion cube badge for defeating GLaDOS. He's got the Quill badge for out-signing Alexander Hamilton. And he's got the Liberty Bell badge for eating 3 Crunchwrap Supremes in under an hour and then not breaking the toilet afterwards. What a hero. But yeah, you want to talk about the like good badge design? Besides those, which are obviously people.
Well, yeah, that's because Gary's a mark, like you said.
Yeah,
because
my badges are great. Because wait, actually, side note real quick. Why the fuck does nobody sell those in an artist alley? I've never seen these for sale. Someone should be selling Gary's fake badges.
But I have seen these badges previously. Everyone knows them. Everyone loves them. The Generation 1 badges. Peak aesthetic design because they are simple representations of the type of Pokemon you defeated to earn them. 1-to-1, easy comparisons. The Boulder badge is a boulder. The Water badge is a water. And the Earth badge is a grass. No confusion whatsoever. It's the same type as the gym leader you fought.
Sorry, I like standing. This is in comparison to, obviously, the shit design of Gen 5 badges. We have the dragon, which lets you use flamethrower. We have the dog, which lets your Pokemon use recover outside of battle. And we have the cock, which you know what that... Wait. What are these from? How could they be from Ben 10? There are 12 of them. Clayton. It's not Ben 12, it's Ben 10. Okay, you're dead to me. I don't even know what the fuck you're saying. Clayton, what is this?
So I'm pretty sure they're actually the Jackie Chan Adventures talismans.
Okay. Gen 5 badges. Would you like to go over this? Since you're so confident you got it right.
Yeah, you have the Millennium Pyramid for storing grain, the Millennium Ankh for storing Ankhs, and the Millennium Falcon for making the Kessel Run in under 5... Yeah, you're right, these are the Millennium items from... Okay, I'm pretty sure we can't make this too many more times.
Oh.
Did you pay someone on Fiverr to make these slides?
No.
Was it on Forver?
Actually, you were in the room, so...
I was. I went, yeah, let's do a crypto slide. Alright, we can't do this bit that many more times, right?
No, probably at least once, though. Earth!
Fire!
Oh.
Wind! Water! Heart!
With our powers combined, we are
Ember!
Oh.
These aren't the Gen 5 badges. This is my dad's used toothpick collection. We have the broken one that he used too long. You know it's my dad's because he has the fucking turf one. Yeah, he has some problematic views on the LGBTQ plus community. On the bright side, he doesn't have problematic views on this. He's pretty based. Oh no, it's racism. I thought we had a fun panel.
That sounded way too sarcastic, Max. Let's be clear, racism is bad. Hot take of the day.
That is not a politically popular position anymore somehow. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Pokemon doesn't have a terrible history with this kind of thing. I mean, you've seen Jinx. And as much as Game Freak will be like, well, it's based on a fashion trend, why did they have to recolor it? And when you look at it and you go, well, how else do they draw black people in Japan? And you go,
Oh.
yeah. Here's the thing, most of what Japan knows about black people they got from 1930s American minstrel shows. And it is hard to be more racist than 1930s American minstrel shows. But Gen 1 wasn't the only offender. Gen 3 was pretty bad too. We have Ludicolo, someone here is going to insist, what are you saying? It's just a happy pineapple kappa. Yeah, its name is Ludicolo, which, let's be honest, is pretty Spanish coded. It's wearing a sombrero and a poncho, and it's doing a dance and he uses maracas. What attack does Lotad start with to deal damage? It's not bite, it's not pound, it's not scratch, it's astonish. Think of the 3 evolutionary lines that learn Thief in Gen 3, because he's one of them. And then in the games, he's just working at tequila bars. In the card game, his attack is Mug. They're not doing a good job. But Gen 5 somehow Gen 5 did a hold my beer on this shit. This is Lenora. I know it doesn't look too bad. This is the American version of Lenora. This is the international release. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. It's going to get worse. So this is Lilligan. She's a nice big hoop skirt. She's in front of that plantation house that burned down last week, which was really warmed my heart. But Lilligan feels like, like a white woman in the antebellum South. Like, she has those vibes. She is the white version exclusive Pokemon. Would you care to guess what the black version exclusive Pokemon is?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I wish we were making this up, Max. You can confirm for yourself on Bulbapedia, the community-driven dumpster fire encyclopedia.
I think right now it's the community-driven racism encyclopedia. And it gets worse because what does the cotton evolve into? A small black man.
Oh my god.
And I'm just going to point out the 2 arguments that people always give me. They will come up and defend this. Someone will do it. They're going to be like, that is a cotton stem. It can be both. You could have made a non-racist version of a cotton stem. Or better yet, just not even tried. Or someone will point out, hey, well, maybe it's because they don't understand American culture. I don't know, Gen 5 is kind of based off of New York City, so they did some research. This leads me to believe that Gen 5 apologists aren't this. They're this.
Oh.
Yeah, that is ivermectin. He is a hungry boy. So, where does this lead? So, obviously, Gen 5 isn't Pokemon, but there are consequences. Point 1, here are pedestrian fatalities in traffic incidents over the past 30 years. Here's where Black-White released. You ever wonder what happened to the Subway $5 footlong? They had to get rid of that shit. Because they couldn't associate themselves with something as problematic as Pokemon Black-White. That's why you have to pay more for sandwiches now. It's not inflation, it's Pokemon Black-White. Subway understands how to distance themselves from a monster.
Oh.
Who's seen Top Gun Maverick? Yeah, cool. What kind of planes do the bad guys fly in Top Gun Maverick? 5th gen fighters. How do we have Tom Cruise on board? That's wild.
And Gen 5, we could have added more Pokemon, right? Especially, new forms of Gen 2 Pokemon like Alolan Typhlosion, Negafurit, and Millennial Xatu. But instead, Game Freak is doing the unthinkable and doing things like this. They're re-adding remade Gen 5 abominations. And you might think, Clayton, what's the problem with that? You take something that doesn't exist, you add more of it, and you still have things that aren't real Pokemon. Well, see, here's a quick math lesson just to prove to you that this is a serious problem. Because in Generation 1, we had 151 Pokemon. Generation 5, we have 155 creatures. They're not real Pokemon, so we're going to use the imaginary unit. And if you remember how imaginary numbers work, I to the power of 0 is 1. Raised to the power of 1 is I, and and you square it, you get -1. Which means if you take a Generation 5 abomination and square it, you've created negative Pokemon. You've deleted a real Pokemon from the game. Say goodbye to Klefki, because we've got this crap now.
I mean, I don't think I need Klefki. Maybe we'll lose a loved one next time. Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, that's the panel.
I think so, yeah.
So, again, you can scan the QR code. It will take you to our link tree where you can follow us on Discord and Blue Sky. We have a YouTube channel where we upload a lot of our panels. So if you want to see other ones or rewatch this and relive this glorious moment of your life, you can do that. Let people do that. We also have business cards up here that have the QR code, as well as badge ribbons. If you want a badge ribbon, they're kind of hard to put on Fanime badges because, that's how the sizing works. We also have a bunch of other panels. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we have Yark's Thought for School Board because, Andre left, but Cthulhu's presidential campaign just ain't working out. We also have D&D on TV, a critical miss about the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon that Thomas is doing. I'm not in it because I don't want to. Also because it's the same time as Yark's Thought. We have Waluigi time.
6:30 Saturday night. It's Waluigi time.
All the games Waluigi should be in, but isn't. Convention stories where Stan and I ask you to tell us about your stories at a convention and I make fun of you while you do it. Because that's the most fun way to do it. Sunday at 11 o'clock, we have Info Wario, which asks the question, what if Wario had an Alex Jones show?
It takes the real story and brings it to you hard and fast in a rapid-fire series of news bites, just like the WarioWare series.
Then we have Follow the House of Miyazaki on Sunday at 2:30, where we learn all about how Miyazaki's talentless hack. At 3:30, we have the Pokemon Film Review Hour, because we watched all the Pokemon film reviews, so someone has to fucking deal with that. And at 4:30, with the Super Mario Bros. Super Panel, where we talk about the Super Mario Bros. Show. And then at 9:30, we have Anime Survivor, where we put anime characters in the Survivor Simulator and see who will win. So again, that's our panel schedule. That is our panel schedule. You can scan that QR code if you would like to know more. We also have business cards and badge ribbons, and you'd think I'd be better at summarizing this by now, but I am not. But we are also out of time. So thank you all for coming. Have a glorious Friday, and if I don't see you tomorrow at 1, I will cry.